States' rights appear to be at the core of this immigration debate, and we're joined now by Tamar Jacoby. She's President and CEO of Immigration Works USA, and we welcome Alan Wilson, who's Attorney General from South Carolina. Alan, as our own Pete Williams just suggested, federal law says that immigrants have to have their papers with them. They have to have their cards with them. So why shouldn't the states be able to card somebody that they come into contact with law enforcement? Why not?
Well, the state should be able to do that, and that's why we're in court tomorrow. I applaud Arizona in taking a leadership role in this issue. South Carolina is dealing with a similar issue. We have a similar provision that's being challenged, and we firmly believe, and it was also noted last year in the Whiting case, which is another Arizona case involving employers-employees licensing being used to punitively punish employers who fail to check the legal status to E-Verify. The Supreme Court has already upheld this as a right of the state to regulate this area of law and to augment federal law.
Tamar, with all that, I don't see what the beef is. Again, if the local cops stop somebody, look, they ask for their driver's license, they ask for their insurance card, they're going to ask for their immigration card. Federal law says that's what you can do. What's the issue here? I don't see what the brouhaha is.
So the issue for the Supreme Court is whether state law and federal law conflict. If they conflict, federal law trumps state law. And you're looking at the details, right? And the details seem reasonable. But the truth is that the theory behind the Arizona law, and it's stated right in the law, right, is a theory called attrition through enforcement. And what that means is the Arizona seeks to make life so miserable for unauthorized immigrants that they drive them out of the state, that they drive them to leave the state. That is not federal policy. Well, so, you know, looking at the details, maybe it makes sense.
Let me go there. That's a very key point. Attorney General Wilson, does in fact, in your judgment, the Arizona law seek to make life so miserable for Arizona illegals that they have to leave?
Well, this is a red herring. We're talking about what is constitutionally provided for. The state has powers reserved to it under the 10th Amendment. Anything that is not expressly prohibited by Congress, and the bar is very high for what is impliedly prohibited. There's nothing prohibited in federal law that allows Arizona to allow its local law enforcement to supplement or augment and support a federal government who for years has complained of lack of resources. We're also dealing with an administration that, under the Justice Department, they say we're going to prohibit law enforcement, and they use the term racial profiling, but we're going to also mandate under the State Department. If you go to the State Department, there's a manual called the Access Manual that requires law enforcement to racial profile for purposes of giving people access to their consulate.
Profiling is really not. Profiling is what people are talking about in the media about this issue. It's a big problem, but that's not what the court's going to be thinking about. What the court's going to be thinking about is, do these two laws conflict? And Arizona's going to be trying to say they don't conflict. And if you look at the surface details, they don't conflict. But if you look at the big intent, they're hugely in conflict.
You know, look, I'm a guy, as you well know, Tamar. I want to see some reforms at the federal level. I think you got to have a guest work. I mean, I'm all for the security at the border, but there ought to be guest worker reforms. And frankly, I think at some point citizenship should lay down the road. That's my basic view. But the interesting thing to me, I want to get you both to weigh in on this story today. For the first time since the Depression, more Mexicans are leaving the United States than are entering the United States. And a lot of this is the lousy economy. In fact, job creation is probably better in Mexico right now than the United States, including those Walmart stores that are being attacked. And also, border protections and other laws are working, Tamar. So are we getting closer now? The immigrants are going the other way.
When the economy picks up again, we're going to need low-skilled immigrants again. We're not just going to need the people who are here. We're eventually going to need more. Nobody's building any houses now. People are not eating out very much. People are not staying in hotels. When the economy picks up, we're going to continue to need low-skilled immigrants. And the problem is going to be that Mexico demographics, people are having fewer and fewer babies, and the middle class is growing, and job creation is good. We're going to actually be worried about where the next immigrants are going to come from when the economy is in full steam again.
Again, if I may, I want to say that this is really about the most important power of state sovereignty, and that's its police power, its ability to protect people. Is the state allowed under the 10th Amendment, under our Constitution, to pass laws? Now, it's great that we have policy changes and that the economy is well enough for some of these immigrants to leave, but we're not against immigrants coming and taking some of these manual labor jobs. the way I look at it is, if you want to come to my house, come through the front door, introduce yourself, and come on into the front door. Don't come in through the window at 3 o'clock in the morning. We need to have common sense immigration reform, and allowing the states to augment and supplement and support the federal initiatives is completely well within a state's right.
And I don't disagree with that at all, but the Congress does have to it's hard for the states to create guest worker programs. It's hard for the states to create a front door. Congress needs to create a front door, and I agree there's a role for the states to play in helping with enforcement.
I think we got to get some federal reforms, but to me this is a flat-out states' rights issue, and the local law enforcement should do what they're going to do. It doesn't even sound, Attorney General Wilson, like the federal government what local law enforcement wants to do. I think Obama's crowd has politicized this whole thing, and that is most regrettable. Anyway, I thank both of you. As always, Tamar Jacoby, thank you. Attorney General from South Carolina, Alan Wilson, thank you. That's it for